easier. We don't got to cut tape no more. Everything is just so fast, man. It's like heaven come true.
Yeah.
You know?
Chris, you have thoughts on that?
Just to back that up, yeah, I think that there's two things for me. Like Clef was saying, one, regardless of your industry, for us, we are creators, we work in music or whatever it is. The technology that's available to you, you should be using as a tool. It's to assist you. It's not to replace your innate ability. We shouldn't allow our innate abilities to atrophy just because there's a new technology now. It's like, okay, cool. Like, just because there's a guitar plugin doesn't mean you can play guitar. There's nothing that replaces the actual human ability to play the guitar or learn to play the guitar, learn to play the piano, learn to take a picture, whatever it is. So we have to use the technology that's available to us to help us, not to replace what ability we have. And the second thing that I really miss is the tangible aspect of certain things. We've lost music to the cloud, we've lost books to the cloud, we've lost movies and TV to the cloud. And for me, we old heads, well, except for this lovely young lady, but I remember, going and buying a CD, going and buying a cassette, reading the liner notes, looking to see who produced what song they sample, who wrote the drums on this, all of this stuff that we still have that ability, because the great thing about the internet and the great thing about all this technology that we have now is that there's no more hiding. If somebody like back in the day, if somebody had ripped off the Carlos Santana joint, there would be conversation behind the scene, but people wouldn't really know. But now that everything is available, now that information is available, people know, so they know, well, okay, cool, like this is who wrote this song for Justin Bieber, this is who, did additional production on this record, etc., etc. So the information is available, but I still miss the physical, the excitement of going and reading the liner notes, and having a physical, attachment to a creative product.
Right. So let's think about what comes next in music and the creative side of technology. My colleague at CNN, Laurie Siegel, was just in Tulsa with U2, and they're kicking off this tour that incorporates all sorts of new technology, AR, VR, rethinking where the stage is and what you can do with special effects. What's next in terms of this crossover between music and tech? Is the performative aspect of music going to head to a place that incorporates more augmented reality, virtual reality, uses the mobile phone as a sort of piece of the show?
I think when you look at the Gen Z data, it shows that this is the most visual generation we've had to date. Who, for me, when you think about the fact that they literally, use visuals more than ever having talked on the phone. We do have to think about what's the next generation of entertainment, right? How is AR a critical part of performance? And then also, how is music consistently accompanying with visuals in a way that's stimulating and ever-changing? How the consumer can manipulate it, and then how the entertainers can make sure they're providing the right interpretation of their vision, both musically and with the visual accompaniment. So I think tech, there's obviously great things that are happening, but there's an opportunity for that to be more seamless in the consumer interface and on the musician side.
Yeah.
I mean, through AR, there was an app that I used through Shazam. And it was like just the idea of, why Wyclef breaks through the telephone, and he's able to say, what's up, y'all, what's going on? As we move towards the future, once again, for me, it's just, they call me a thug nerd, right? So it's really just the Jetsons. At the end of the day, you can already tell as you go into the concerts, you could already tell we moving towards the AR space. You could see we moving towards the VR. And I think moving forward, it's nothing different than when Pink Floyd was bringing out the lasers. It's just now, versus the lasers, they're going to be beaming us, further than they doing with the hologram now, straight to our telephones. But once again, it's very exciting. It's a reinvention. Again, I always think what these things do, it constantly helps us and it pushes us to keep reinventing our art and our craft. Not just for us, but more for how are we going to be presenting our next artists. So it's Heads Music, all these young artists that I'm bringing to the forefront now, how are we going to use AR and VR as part of the scheme to bring it to people like my daughter?
So I could keep going on this conversation for an hour. We have like 2-3 minutes left. And I want to ask you a question that's really about the hip hop industry, not necessarily about tech, but it seems to me, because I cover the field of innovation, and this seems to me to be an innovative decision for rewarding an innovative artist. How big of a deal was it to the three of you that Kendrick Lamar won the Pulitzer Prize? For the sake of the art, not for Kendrick, but for like the sake of hip hop, for the sake of new music?
I think it's an interesting conversation around culture and where we're at right now. In terms of acceptance of black culture and acceptance of hip hop, which is something that the three of us have been a part of innately. And I think that anything that allows people to continue to have a conversation around what is happening in their community or what is happening in their workplace or what is happening in their creative space is important. And it doesn't really come down to how you feel about it. It really comes down to the fact that we're willing to have a conversation about it. But at least that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. And to the two of you, who right now is making the most innovative stuff in the field of music generally? Who excites you?
I mean, these two guys here are.
Man, Dylan.
Present company.
Dylan. Yo, but you know what? Real talk to the point of Kendrick, right?
Yes.
The Fugees' first album is called Blunted on Reality. Mm-hmm. I think it sold 2 copies. The man gave us money, and the album starts off with a poem to the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
Saying like, whatever you thought it was, those days are over. We're not going for that no more. So for me, I always respect the idea of when an artist can put themselves on the line. You know how hard that is, man?
Yeah.
Like when I decided I'm gonna run for president of Haiti, man, they was giving me a modern day lynching every day. You think I like that? I like holding the guitar and people screaming. But when you can sacrifice yourself, so for me, when I'm looking at Kendrick and there's things he's saying and there's the movement, it's once again, it inspires us because this comes from that hip hop culture. Mm-hmm. And that's, Bad Boy, like, we don't, that's like a 100-hour conversation, but it makes us excited to see like how our DNAs has affected everything. And to me, the most eclectic producer, I'm not just saying this, on the planet because I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
The dude that I see that kills it, and I'm like, yo, I gotta just spend a little time with this dude. I ain't gonna say that. It's the guy with the funny hair. Right
That's
there.
fantastic.
I don't know how sonically he's doing this thing. He's doing like the most. It's almost like he's creating these frequencies. I don't get it, man.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We are exactly out of time. Thank you guys so much. This was really
Thank you.
awesome. I hope it was good for you guys as well.
Sure.